Test. Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Test, test, test.
I yeah.
Sean Dre, good morning.
It's just from Roseville.
Chris G, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We've got you up on the big screen just preparing.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. We're
All right,
good.
cool. You can hear me, but you can't see me, can you?
I can actually see you. Yeah, you're off to the right.
You can. All right, good.
Yeah, you're on the right-hand side.
All right, perfect.
You got some sick glasses on, I see.
Say, we should be working fine today because I got my prescriptions finally in. I had to go last month and get my eyes checked out. And sure enough, I
Yeah,
needed
you got.
glasses.
Did you wear glasses before that?
No, it's the first time ever.
I didn't know if you had contacts or something.
Nope.
Well, welcome to the nerd club.
Yeah, I already got called Four Eyes a couple times. It's only been
Yeah, for
12
sure.
hours.
It's obviously I wear glasses all day, every day. Whenever I see anybody glassing, I always say nerd alert. And they're like, "You got glasses on too."
Just got big brains, man. Can't
Yeah,
help
that's
it.
all it is.
That's all it is. Can't help that we're smart.
No. All right, so I got this loaded up. I'm gonna round everybody up in a minute.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Morning, Christopher. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
I thought I was late. No, you're right on time. 9:15.
Did you look at that woman's file, Federal yesterday or no? It was a used car, so I'm assuming you didn't.
No, you tagged me in something?
No. She came in at 5:30 and she was,
Oh, no, I know who you're talking.
yeah, the young girl,
No, I didn't.
I know 5, 6.
Yeah.
So,
Christopher, are those Cartiers? You got some buffs on? What do you got there?
Thanks.
These
I
are not Cartiers, no buffs. These are VisionWorks high quality special glasses. So special, I think they're even plastic lenses.
That crown
Indestructible.
standing on the table or something, so. Okay, they hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, Cam. Loud and clear. Man, we
Hey,
got
guys, how are
Paul C,
you?
Snow, Tad, PZ in there. There's two fellas I don't know though.
That's Nicholas,
you got Saint Nick?
that's my guy, and then my guy Drew right here. Drew down.
Nice to meet you fellas.
And you got Larry, you know Larry?
We don't know Larry either.
I'm just kidding. His
Oh,
name's
that's Randy?
That's Randy.
That's Randy.
For some reason, Sean, I got Larry in my brain, so that's
All right.
a nickname for
I
him.
do have one request.
What's that?
Can we adjust any of the coloring at all? Cause I really don't show up. Like, I look like a shadow, right? Really. Like, that is crazy.
That's hilarious.
I'm
Smiling.
Yeah, she said that, not us.
Yeah, I did say that, not anyone else. I don't wanna mention this shit.
Cam, Ryan said character unlocked. Not
There you
unlocked.
go.
All right, everybody, let's get started. Good morning.
Let's go.
Hope everyone's having a great day.
We'll never do that again.
Oh, look at Perry with his crown. We're gonna find out if Perry gets to keep that crown or not.
Let's
Oh,
go.
See what happens here. Hope everyone's having a great start to the morning. Sounds like we got some good energy, which is awesome, and a great start to the month. Finally got some decent weather, and hopefully we get some nice breaks here come mid-April. So without further ado, let's jump in. Today my technology should be working. I got my specs on, so shouldn't have any freebie answers or giveaways. Looking at March 2026 performance review.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, Paul, let's see what happened. So we got Cadillac, we got Chevy, we got Pinckney. Little recap. Cadillac won it the first time around. Chevy, you guys took the crown, and it looks like you got it probably displayed there on your table the second month. And let's see if we got a repeat winner or new winner. So Cadillac, you guys came in at 95% of achievement for March. Chevy, you guys were down at 82%.
Come on.
Pinckney, You guys hit the 100% dead on the money. Outstanding job to the Pinckney crew. So take your last little looks at your crown there, Chevy. A little round of applause for Pinckney. I'll be coming to grab my crown to give over to Pinckney. So 3 months, 3 winners. That's pretty good stuff. Outstanding job. So way to go. We'll have to see what happens in May if we get to a repeat. If Cadillac, you're going to get your crown back, or if Pinckney, you're going to keep it, and Chevy, if you're in that rotation too. So nice job, Pinckney crew. Way to go. On an individual basis, let's look at our top performers from March. We had a tie for first place between Brian Carruthers and Andrew Johnson. So Pinckney again taking that first spot. Nice job to you guys over there. Second place, which was not far behind, Vincent Galicki and Zach Gregory coming in second. So another two-way tie for second place. And rounding out the top 3, we had Chelsea with again not too far off from second or first place. So nice job to those 5 individuals. Way to go. And let's look at the team overall performance. So Brian and Andrew tied for 22 units. Vince and Zach tied for 21, and Chelsea with 20.5. So very, very close, and came down to the wire there at the end. So nice job to those guys over there. Cameron and Lane giving you guys a call out here on this slide. You can see there in the red box, your percentage to the senior level and the executive level. So Cam, you are leading the group with 64.5 units year to date. And that's your percentages on your way to senior and executive. So the highest out of the group on units. And Lane, you're going to see yourself there at 24.9 and 16.6%, getting there on the gross percentage to senior and executive level, leading the pack. So keep up the pace, keep up the good work, and you guys are off to a heck of a start in achieving your accomplishments. And let's talk about April's game plan. So for April, what we want to talk about is being a professional. Okay, so we talk about our game planning when we're getting into the swing of things, the meat of the year here now. We know stuff is coming at us quite often and fast, and now things start to ramp up, especially when you're selling like our top performers did, anywhere from 20 to 22 cars. That's almost a car a day. So we need to be professionals at what we do, and that doesn't happen by accident. We need to take pride in what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. Anything from the way that we park cars, we're moving stuff all the time. We need to make sure that those cars are being put back and merchandised properly with the hang tags, with the buyer's guides on used cars, with floor mats, with positioning of the cars on the lot. Again, this is a professional work environment. We're all trying to make sure that we're doing our part in selling what we can, but we need everyone to pitch in and making sure that we're being professionals and doing stuff like parking cars, building deal jackets. I've got a note on there: practice, practice, practice. Being a professional, again, isn't an accident. It takes hard work. Are you perfecting your craft? Are you making the same silly mistakes over and over again? Or if you make a mistake once, are you figuring out why the mistake happened, and are you moving on from there and making sure it never happens again? So our game plan for this month is we need everyone to be on the same page and be professionals. I like to see everyone selling 20 to 22 cars, and everyone has the ability to do it. Those that are doing it will tell you that, they're the ones that are making sure that the little details are being taken care of. And the other thing about being a professional is staying informed. Are you up to date on industry trends? Do you know what's happening around us at any point? I put a few different websites and resources for you here. Automotive news, it take 5-10 minutes out of the day. Maybe first thing in the morning, jump on there. Instead of doom scrolling Facebook, get yourself informed on what's happening around us. Carbuzz.com, is another independent resource where they'll post different car reviews, or they'll post different things that are happening around us in the car business. And so is CB2 News. They do a YouTube video every morning, and it's a quick 10-minute video. It gives you a snapshot of dealer news and what's happening in the automotive space. And Product Knowledge. part about staying informed and being professional is knowing what we sell and making sure that we're up to date. We know that there's technology that's changing all the time on this stuff. And it's hard to keep track of what car has what and what's new or what's maybe been updated or what's going to be updated. Again, if you take a little bit of time every day, that's a little bit of knowledge. If you add that up over time, it's going to greatly impact how well you are going to be versed in knowing your product. And then, part of being a professional too is being compliant. Compliance is a major component of what we do, since we know that we're dealing with a lot of sensitive information when it comes to our customers. And we have to be careful in how we handle that information. That's why, again, we talk about UpLogic and using the upload link, making sure that we're not just using our personal cell phones to gather information. Being a professional is how we care for our customers, and part of caring for our customers is the information that we house. So game plan for this month, we need to be professionals. Last month was all about execution, and I think, looking back, it's a pretty solid month all across the board. Obviously there were some targets that we didn't hit 100%, but anywhere from 80 to 100% across the board, hey, I'll take that, we'll take that, and that's a good place to be. So this month we need to make sure we're tightening the screws and not have any leaky holes in our boat, and be a professional in what we're doing. Okay, let's talk about, customer success story. We've done this for the last 2 months now, so hopefully you guys have been keeping in your memory bank those customer experiences that maybe in the beginning didn't start so well, or you didn't think were going to be a success story, but turned into that. And let's see who's going to share part of that with us today. Let's spin the wheel and see who we get. Is Brian on the call?
Yeah.
All right, Brian, you're up. So if you could speak loud so we can all hear you, give us a customer success story from last month.
Something successful. Hello, everybody. Customer success story. I guess it always goes down to basics, and establishing that trust right off the bat. Always treating somebody with a smile, getting them to get something acquainted to, not only the car, but as like family, or like something in town, or something you guys can relate to, and then expressing just good, answering all their questions with quickly and knowledgeable. So I just had one customer that came from Petoskey, and when someone comes from Petoskey not knowing you, and when you greet them with that smile and kind of interact telling them how I love Petoskey, and I might have never even been to Petoskey, but I loved it that time, so but who doesn't love Petoskey, right? So but they came all the way down, and they on a car that it was actually damaged, that we didn't even see that there was damage. And we had to really, so it was like a whole group effort. And I really feel like when they came down here, that with everybody involved and everybody working together, from not only me, but my manager, my general manager, and our porter. Our porter running around getting the cars cleaned that they picked as their second option. It was, I really think they enjoyed everybody's effort, and they enjoyed, being a small town. And I think having a friendly smile really helped a lot. So, and they actually left. They weren't going to take it. And then they said they drove like 10 minutes away, and then they called back and said, you know what, we're going to come back. Everything just worked out. So I think it speaks volumes. It's just being personable and being, answering all their questions, and just have a great smile on your face. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Brian. what he's talking about is kind of what we had shared last time, was, making sure that when we're building rapport with somebody, they're not just buying the car, but they're buying that relationship that they have with us, right? So it's important to make sure that we are doing those things that Brian's talking about. And Brian, to give you another pat in the back, I witnessed this firsthand when I was at Pinckney last month, and you had a customer at your desk, and the customer sat down and, I'm sorry, it was actually on the phone. The customer called in and must have said something about they were from Grand Rapids, and you had shared that, you had history with Grand Rapids, and you knew the area well, and knew the school well, and just started a conversation, right? People want to buy from someone they like, respect, and or trust, and being able to have that rapport and greeting with a smile, like you said, and starting the conversation on the right foot can absolutely turn around the customer scenario to where they may be on the fence about buying. And like you said, the car was damaged. The car wasn't in perfect order, right? But then the team got together, figured out how we needed to make it right, or whatever the case may be. And they bought the car anyways because of the relationship that they ended up establishing with you. So let's make sure that we're doing those things, those little details on the phone, in person, via text. Let your personality shine. It's all important stuff to make sure we're doing. So thank you for sharing. And let's get into the lesson that we have for today. So our learning activity, okay, get someone to represent you in the chat here, because I'm going to give you a question. Let's see what we got. A question for this month: what was the original purpose of the tiny pocket in jeans? If anybody knows that, put your answer in the chat. I got the chat up here in front of me, and we'll see who comes in. Watch. Okay, I must have gave away that answer possibly a minute ago, but Pinckney, nice job. Okay, yeah, pocket watch. Didn't know that was a store, a pocket watch. So pretty cool little thing. Pocket became useless in today's world, but something to think about. We're going to talk about the vehicle selection and presentation and test drive today. So we're moving right along the flow chart here across the top, and let's get into it. Okay, the vehicle presentation, right? You got the customer. We talked about it last week, last month, the needs and wants analysis. And you've got them at the desk. You get to know them a little bit. You got some rapport if that happens on the phone. But now it's to the point where we need to share this vehicle with the customer. This is the point where it's going to combine all the previous sales steps you've done thus far. And when you do this step correctly, it can really turn the average salesperson into a superstar. Reason being is that there was a survey that was done of about 250,000 customers, and they were asked all sorts of questions about the car buying experience. And one of the questions asked to them was, did you get a proper vehicle presentation? 88% of customers responded to the survey saying no, they did not get a proper vehicle presentation. Typically what happened in the transaction, they said, was that they asked about a vehicle. The salesperson got keys for the vehicle right away, tossed them the keys, let them go out to the vehicle themselves, look at the vehicle, put a plate on the back of it for them, and test drive it. The salesperson never took the time to go over the vehicle with the customer. And the customer basically responded in the survey saying that they wanted somebody to go over the vehicle with them. Think about yourself, right? You're purchasing a large purchase like a car, like a house. You're spending a lot of hard-earned money, no matter it's $5,000 or $50,000. You're going to want to make sure that you have someone going over the vehicle with you or the house with you, because that's the whole reason you're there. They're the professional, they're the expert. So that's the question I kind of have for you, or the thought I have for you in the next box here. When you buy something over $1,000 or anything of value to you, were you happy with the purchase right away? And if you weren't, well, I can tell you it's probably because you didn't find enough value in it to justify the money you spent. When I think about it, when these cell phones first came out, a lot of people really didn't comprehend what the heck the thing could do, because we're just used to making phone calls and texting being relatively new at the time. But it's basically a computer in your pocket. A lot of people were not too happy with smartphones. So if you think about yourself, when you first got the phone, maybe you weren't that impressed by it. Most cases with a cell phone, you just go to the store, you buy it. You don't really have anyone go over it with you. And so you really don't know what the heck the capabilities are. So the first 24 hours, you may not be too impressed with what you bought. As time goes on, though, and you learn how it functions, you may become more comfortable with it. Well, at this point in the process, the customer hasn't bought it yet. We need to share the value with them. So it's important that we present the value that they're going to receive when they purchase the vehicle. Ways that we can do that, I can tell you, don't make these common mistakes. Make sure that we do a needs assessment, because if you don't do the needs assessment, you're going to show a customer possibly the wrong car because you didn't take the time to find out what their needs and wants were. If we do a feature dump, if you all of a sudden just start blabbing about all the different things that are on the vehicle. Remember, a car has 30,000 individual components. Customers don't need to know all 30,000 individual components. We need to sell the benefits and make sure it matches with whatever their needs were from the previous step. And poor customer engagement. It's meant to be fun. This isn't like going to get a root canal at the dentist, right? We're showing them a new vehicle to them. Whether it be new or used, it's new to them. Make it fun. And we got to know our product, right? Obviously, a lack of product knowledge is going to turn this step upside down. And having that emotional hook, remember that people, when they see the car, we want their heart to race a little bit, to get their emotions up, to get their blood pumping. We want to have them interested and excited in the vehicle. So when we're going over this, there's this acronym called SPACED. Okay, basically we can take apart all the features on the vehicle and we can put them into one of these 6 categories. Whether it be a safety component, a performance feature, appearance, comfort, economy, or dependability. And we got to recognize that some customers care more about, let's say, safety and economy than they do about performance and appearance. So if you're going to be talking to them about horsepower ratings and how you've got all the different torque factors and stuff like that, they may not care about any of that stuff. There's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the selling is done on 20% of the features. It's important for us to know what 20% the customer cares about and to focus on those features. Easiest way to do that is through an FBI statement. Feature, benefit, impact. Okay, a little bit of investigative work here. FBI is going to be what the feature is. So here's the example I have for you here at the bottom, Apple CarPlay. What does that feature do? Well, in simple layman's terms, it's an in-car interface that's going to mirror your iPhone onto the vehicle's infotainment display. So it's going to provide a safer, hands-free way to use things like navigation, make phone calls, send messages, or stream audio. Your phone screen is going to be mirrored on your infotainment screen of the car. What's the value to you, Mr. and Mrs. Customer? Well, you can operate your phone hands-free on your drive to work, ensuring that you can keep your eyes on the road and reduce driver distraction by utilizing voice commands in a simplified layout tailored for your drive. Another way to do the customer value, the customer at this point. If this is a customer that drives up and down I-94 every single day, put the customer value in a situation on I-94. It's a beautiful sunny day today. Yesterday was too, but on my drive to work, I got stopped dead in traffic for 15 minutes because there was an accident up ahead. If I was distracted looking down at my phone, I may not have seen the car stopped in front of me. But when I have my phone screen displayed up on my infotainment center, I can have my eyes clear on the road. That's a very descriptive, very clear-cut customer scenario that I drive up and down that road any given day. I can now picture me using that feature in that scenario. So it's a very concise, very easy way to do this when you're explaining what the feature is, what the benefit is, and what the impact. And then, of course, we walk around the vehicle. We want to make sure that we hit on these hot spots with the customer and talk about the feature when the feature's in front of us. We don't want to be talking about the driver cluster when we're standing on the outside of the vehicle, right? We want the customer in the driver's seat taking ownership of the vehicle and be able to have them point, touch, and feel. We know the vehicle already. We don't need to sell ourselves on it. We need to be able to present the value to them. And then we can use statements like the little stick figure here as, you told me. Remember you told me how important it was to have a sunroof? Well, let me show you how the operation works. Have a seat in the driver's seat. You're going to press this button right above you, and that panoramic roof is going to go ahead and open up for you. Nice, easy, concise language. So on the front of the vehicle, that's an opportunity to discuss things like styling or aerodynamics, maybe any special equipment or features that come on it, like a front camera. It's also an opportunity that you can review the engine compartment. On the side of the vehicle and going through the interior, well, we can discuss obviously things like wheels, brakes, and then we can transition them on the side into the passenger seat or the driver's seat. It's always a great idea too. If you know they have young kids or they have a family, have the family sit in the vehicle, get them comfortable in it. You know, the driver compartment, we can discuss what the driver is going to interact with in front of them. And again, let them touch, feel, and hand over the physical key to them and let them interact with all the features. And handing over that physical key is also another little mental ownership component of this. The window sticker. You know, the window sticker to me was always my best friend because I can never remember all features on every single car. But when I can review the window sticker with a customer, it's also going to build on that value that I'm presenting in that I can display the window sticker and you can clearly see the feature listed. And so you and I, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, are on the same page. I'm not trying to hide things from you or make things up. Here it is. I can point it out to you clearly on the window sticker. And then the rear of the vehicle, right? Again, we can discuss any relevant features that they may care about. The power lift gate, if it has it equipped. The carrying capacity, if you know that they've got a child that plays hockey, you know, hockey comes with a lot of stuff. You know, look at how your hockey bag may fit in the back of this vehicle. So making it relevant to the customer scenario. Okay. Closing comments, as we're wrapping up here. You know, again, April is going to present an opportunity. We are in Q2 now, by the way. So the year's moving pretty quick. But let's set ourselves up on the right path for a strong Q2. You know, we know, again, we're in the meat of the year. We're in that selling season now. We're getting the ball rolling. And that we need to make sure we got momentum carrying on. Be the professional that we all know we're capable of being. It's not an accident. It takes a conscious effort. Day in and day out, what can you do to be the best professional out there? And again, the vehicle presentation is where superstar salespeople stand out. Your customer is going to remember this interaction. Whether they buy today or not, they're going to remember that you took the time to go over the vehicle with them. If they don't buy today and they're back in the market in 2-3 months just because the timeline didn't work out today, I'm telling you, they're going to come back to deal with you because you took the time to explain the vehicle to them and matched up the needs and wants to what they were looking for. Make this your best April yet. There's no reason it can't be. You know, we got, again, some changes in the lineup here of salespeople moving up and down the board, which I like to see those moving up. Those that move down, well, hey, you got a fresh start, new opportunity. And the 2 stores that didn't win the crown this month, let's go get it back. You know, there's no reason you can't. So questions, comments, concerns, anybody have anything? Yeah. Well, then here's my closing thought. You know, from Amelia Earhart herself, the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. So let's put that to practice this month. Thank you for attending, and I will see you in May.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep, thank you.
Pete, we're gonna have a meeting afterwards to tell us what you got out of that one, all right?
Got it.